What is going on, guys? UCF here with GenJag.com, and we are officially in week 1 of the NFL season as the first NFL game will kick off tonight. But the Jaguars play on Sunday as they travel to Houston to take on the division rival, the Houston Texans. So let's go ahead and preview the game a little bit.
It's a foot race. Robinson and Browner, and it's Robinson who wins it. Touchdown, Jacksonville. His 14th win. Bortles with top, looking deep for Robinson, and the catch is.
So in my opinion, this game is probably the second hardest game on our roster, with the first being, I believe it's week 4 when we travel to Pittsburgh. But this is a really tough matchup just because of their defensive line versus our kind of piss-poor offensive line. On their defensive line, they probably have 3 all-pro, double-digit sack caliber players with J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and Whitney Merciless. So that's going to be a very, very tough matchup for us. And then you also go to the linebackers, and they have Brian Cushing, I believe, still, and they also have Zach Cunningham, who I was very disappointed when the Texans drafted him, because I think Zach Cunningham is outstanding. I thought he was going to be for sure a first round pick, but he actually wound up dropping to the second round. But if we want any chance to beat these guys, we have to establish the run. Leonard Fournette has to get in there and wreak some havoc, because this team is built to defend the pass. You know, they have those 3 guys that I just mentioned on a defensive line. They also have very good cornerbacks. So the only way we can really set up the pass is being able to set up the pass through a good run game. So Leonard Fournette needs to have, he's probably going to get at least 20 carries. He's got to be the workhorse this game. And we've got to get something going on the run game, which we didn't see, unfortunately, at all during the preseason. But luckily for the Jaguars, you really didn't sustain many key injuries that are going to be keeping players out of this game during the preseason. Of course, Mike Rivera got injured, and he's on the injured reserve list right now, but he was the only really potentially impact player that the Jaguars lost. But even though I think this is the second hardest game on the roster, the Jaguars do have a chance to win this game, just because look at these teams' offense. This team, one of their top 2 wide receivers, and Will Fuller, is injured, and with the Jalen Strong suspension, that means that 2 of their top 4 receivers will be out this game. So we could potentially exploit that with our great cornerbacks that we have. And also with their offensive line, their left tackle DeJuan Brown is holding out right now, so he's not going to be in there playing. And when you look at their quarterback, they got Tom Average Savage in there playing quarterback. So there's really not much on their offensive side that scares me. It's just mainly their defense against what has been a very abysmal offense. I mean, a lot of Jaguar fans literally have no confidence in our offense right now just because of the quarterback situation, and the run game has been awful, mainly due to the offensive line. But, really, we hope that this offensive line can miraculously turn around overnight, but right now we have a huge hole at left guard where there's still a 4-way competition to see who's going to be starting there week 1. So it's a scary situation right now. Now, if I were to bet money on it right now, I would probably bet on Houston winning. But to say that the Jaguars have no chance to win is just downright dumb. The Jaguars have a chance to win. Just look at, like I said, go back to their offense. Could be a defense versus defense kind of game. We have what should be a very good defense. We already know the Houston Texans have a very good defense. So it's going to come over this game, I think, to the turnover margin. Of course, Blake Bortles has to kind of limit his turnovers, but at the same time, the defense needs to force some turnovers. They're not going against a very scary offense here. Tom Savage is a guy who hasn't even thrown a touchdown in a single NFL game. They have a run game, and Lamar Miller is a great player, but they didn't develop a good run game with him last year. This team's main offensive weapon right now is DeAndre Hopkins. And speaking of DeAndre Hopkins, this Ramsey versus Hopkins matchup, I am so excited to watch. This is probably one of the most physical matchups you'll probably see in the NFL this year, just because both these players play just so physical. And, like DeAndre Hopkins, for example, he's not the most athletic guy in the world, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but what puts him as a great receiver, an elite receiver, is his physicality to be able to get open and just the way he plays. And Jalen Ramsey is equally as physical. But I'm telling you guys, I really think the key to this game is the turnovers. Whatever quarterback turns the ball over more is probably going to lose, because it's going to set their other offense up in great field position potentially, give them a little momentum, and it'll be able to, allow them to score. Now, I think this is going to be a low scoring game, somewhere around like 17-13, maybe even less than that at like 14-10, but I really just see this being a big defensive struggle. But like the coaches have been saying all offseason, they want this team to be a run-first team. They want this team to be a physical, hard-nosed team. So we're going to have to bring that through Leonard Fournette, the new identity of our offense. If Leonard Fournette struggles, the rest of the offense is going to struggle. We all pretty much know what Blake Bortles is. Unless he can really turn around overnight, we don't have a great quarterback back there, and we have a quarterback back there that's very, very prone to making mistakes. But at the end of the ball, this defense has to start creating some turnovers, and that's going to start through the pass rush. We got to get Yannick, we got to get Dante Fowler Jr. in there creating some havoc for Tom Average Savage, so he can start turning the damn ball over. So that's really my main keys to the game. I am cautiously optimistic about the game. I'm definitely excited. Hurricane Irma is coming my way, so hopefully my power doesn't go out while the game's going on, but really pumped about it. Week 1 is almost here. Houston Texans, y'all are going down, son. But this is UCF Jaguar with GenJag.com. I'm out.
Once you're beating your opponent who's in front of you physically and psychologically, they tend to get mad like that.